And today we've got Jeff from Seattle. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and set that aside.
That over.
There you go. So Jeff and I are in Aguascalientes,
That's right.
just outside of it. And we're staying at Amigo Motors, which is kind of a haven for motorcyclists to get a room, support.
It is.
And they've been awesome.
Yeah, amazing meal.
I mean, they fed us.
As much beer as you want.
As much beer as you can. The beer flowed like wine, didn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got here a day before Jeff, and then Jeff arrived last night, and Jeff is doing a trip on his Yamaha, and I'm going to show a picture of his setup right now. We're looking at his rig on the screen, because I like to show people your setup. I think they're interested. And but anyways, I'm going to let Jeff talk about, we'll talk about his trip here in a bit, but so Jeff, give us a brief breakdown of who you are.
Yeah, okay. So I grew up in California, Central Valley, so just north of Fresno. Very hot, not a desirable vacation spot to be in, but fun place to grow up. I had 3 older brothers. Parents still live there, and I actually hit that spot on the way down here. So yeah, went to UC Davis, graduated in mechanical engineering, and then soon after found the job I'm at right now, still in Seattle. So it's been a good ride up there. Nice, it's a great company, and having fun up that way in Seattle. But am missing the good weather that California and Baja and Mexico have. So.
That's how you got here. And we talked about the other night, you're another freaking engineer out traveling on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of engineers that seems that do adventure riding, and
there's a correlation. I've got a theory, but we won't go into it now.
Yeah.
But here you are. And so, I mean, that brings up the big question: why are you doing this? Because as someone who's done it and you've done it, it's hard, it's tough, it's whatnot. But why are you on a motorcycle in Mexico? Yeah,
that's a good question. I tend to have a lot of hobbies. I wasn't a motorcyclist growing up, but about 3 years ago, a lot of my friends were into it, and I said, I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle. So yeah, I hopped on I think it was a XR1, maybe a 80 or something. It was a old bike that a buddy had, and learned how to ride a bike, got the license, and then got a SV650, and that's a lot of fun. And then started reading ride reports on ADV Rider about South America. So it's been kind of a quick transition to dual sport, but bought a Yamaha WR250R soon after, and started riding the backcountry discovery routes and stuff like that.
Those are great. We were talking about those are awesome. That's a great way to ride around. But of course, the difference here is there's riding your bike back home and learning, and then there's going to Mexico. Yeah. So there's something that made you want to come down here and give us a quick breakdown of your route you're doing on this trip.
Okay. So I trucked the bike down to Tecate at the border, and spent a little over 2 weeks in Baja, and then took the ferry over to the mainland to Topolobampo, and then rode down to Puerto Vallarta to meet some friends. And then from there, I kind of didn't plan it too well, and just it's kind of I knew it wasn't as serious or dangerous as dirt roads being isolated, so I knew I'd have pavement and people and cities around, so I kind of left it open and doing a kind of a day-by-day thing. So
that's a good way to do it. And now you're basically heading north.
And hitting Copper Canyon. So gotcha. Yeah, we're going to do that for about 4 or 5 days, and then hit the border, and got to go back to work at some point. So yeah.
Good for you. I'm glad someone is.
Yeah.
And so, what was the draw to Mexico? Why Mexico? You could have done a VDR. You could have gone up to Alaska.
It's true.
You could have done any of those. Why south?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, seeing new cultures around the world is interesting. It's enlightening, and it's it's something you could bring back. It sort of becomes a part of you, your personality and your perception of the world. So even back in Seattle, I'll have a different outlook on politics, on life in general. So I'm not one to kind of sit around. If I something comes up and interests me, then I go for it, and work has sent me to a lot of places, Japan, England, Portugal, Canada, and I've gotten a taste of kind of the travel culture.
Isn't it? You're there on business.
Yeah.
And so it's a different experience. Not wrong, just different. But on a motorcycle, you're in it.
Yeah, you are in it. It's nice. It's even traveling. I like going to the outskirts and not the big touristy spots. So this is definitely that. You're away from airports we're away from ports where cruise ships come in. So you're actually getting to immerse yourself a bit into the real world, how people are living. So, I just been, I guess, curious, curiosity, and that's
what's if you can think of one big thing that's been eye-opening, let's say in Mexico, can you think of something that like, holy cow, I didn't know this was going down in Mexico, and it can be people, cultural, or even structural. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's amazed you about Mexico?
Yeah, man, the diversity of towns and geography, the mountains, the kind of jungle habitat of the coastal regions, and then Baja's just a world of its own.
Mexico is not all desert, everyone. No, by the way, it is not.
Absolutely,
it is jungle,
not.
It is mountains, it is coastal.
Yeah.
It is super diverse.
And actually, not surprisingly, I think you hear this from a lot of people that come back from Mexico, so the people are genuinely very helpful, very open, very nice, will invite you into their homes, and it's not quite what you would expect or experience in the States, for sure. We're a bit more, we're, I think, concerned about safety for one, but here it's safer. Surprisingly, yeah, that was a big concern. Everyone said it's not, you're gonna, something's gonna happen. Are you sure you want to go? And I feel actually, I think, safer, more people willing to help you out and bring you in.
Yeah, you had a quick story. The sprocket nut, the nut holding your front sprocket on came loose and fell off and all that in Baja, and give us a brief story of who came to your rescue.
Yeah, so my mechanic, me, didn't install the nut correctly. We torqued it down, but we didn't jab the tabs into the keyway. So unbeknownst to me, 2 weeks testing in Seattle and then 4 days into Baja, it was fine, but the fourth day, just riding along, it loosened up and the front sprocket came off the splines of the drive shaft. So that was it. And it was about 5 p.m. on a highway road where not too many people travel. And about 10 minutes later, a truck rolled in and I waved him down. He stopped and he said, "Yeah, no problem. Throw it in the back of the truck. My mother-in-law has a place that you can stay at for as long as you want." And that night he rolled me into Bahia de Los Angeles. And immediately when I got in the truck, he said, "Hey, do you want Wi-Fi? Go ahead and connect to it and message your family that you're okay," or whatever. And he had a Starlink satellite with a cable through the door into the cab. And it worked.
This is a guy who just met you on the road.
Yeah.
He's this friendly and helpful.
Yeah, he had his 3-year-old daughter in the front seat too, and was dropping her off somewhere. So,
and you were able to you were able to reassemble it, get it all back together. That's the good, with the help of this gentleman.
Yeah, exactly. He had a couple of tools that were kind of required to get access to the nut, we were able to clean up the splines and the threads and get the nut on and properly. And get back on the road. So I had visions of ending the trip 4 days in, which was very heartbreaking, but I could, I was alive and healthy and not
your bike
hurt.
is now working, so let's keep going, man. Yeah.
But didn't take long before we had it up and running.
And that's the help we're talking about in Mexico. And let me ask you this, sticking with the theme here. My guess is, so this is your first trip here. You're kind of wrapping it up. You're heading home.
Yeah.
But has it planted the seed to do another trip that's maybe bigger, farther, larger?
Yeah.
Has that seed been planted because of this trip?
Yeah, everyone kind of says the same thing when they get back, is that one, that they're coming back, and two, that they're going to take more time next time in the places wherever they go to spend a couple days somewhere rather than miles, 250, 300 miles a day just to get somewhere and say you went there. So that even though my schedule is pretty open, I'd still say I would dial it back just a little bit to
slow down.
Slow down and see more. There's lots to see in each city, and
if you had everyone who did a trip like this in a room, they'd all probably have a similar thing, a regret of, I wish I'd slowed down just a little bit more.
Because essentially you only get a couple hours each day to see the city you're in, and then you're on to the next one. So it's nice to spend a few days in one city. And
all right, what you're doing here, you're doing today, he's going to hang out here. It's Christmas Eve, everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm heading north, and Jeff here is going to stay and probably spend Christmas here.
Yeah, these guys offered. And
they cook like machines here, so it breaks my heart to leave.
Yeah, the food is unreal. So,
but excellent. Thanks for your time, Jeff.
Yeah.
This has been a great chat and learning about why you're doing this, why all of us do it.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.